Hello, Marex world. We're going to do something a little different today, and we're going to walk you through the Marex 330 and just point out some of the differences that you should take a look at when you go to a boat show or you get on one of our boats for a sea trial. So, a good tool that we have, and you can all do this at home, obviously, is the virtual tour that we have on our website. It's very easy to operate. You can move it around, you can zoom in. So we're going to start here on the swing platform of the 330 Scandinavia. And one of the things I want to point out is this fold down bench that we have here. Very, very convenient. It also hides the wash down hose and our freshwater shower. We have boaters who enjoy real teak and boaters who enjoy the synthetics, and there's positives and negatives to both. The nice thing with Morex is we do offer either. So if you did want to go with full real teak all the way around your boat, not a problem. If you wanted to go full synthetic, not a problem. And there are some variations on the synthetics with regard to color shading and seaming and things like that. Something that a lot of people miss when they get on board our boats, and I kind of like it because it's it adds to the mood. Under our rails here, this teak is actually on stainless risers, and what you can't see is underneath they've routed it out, and there's LED lighting, and that's all the way around. Which is great because when you're in a low light situation or at night, you turn that on. You don't have to have lights blaring at you, and it just adds an amazing bit of ambiance to the overall experience. Our teak tables in the cockpit are beautifully made. As you can see, they are, I believe it's an inch and a half. It might be even inch and 3/4 teak. We do have an upgrade that has this center section here for bottle and glass holders. But another thing to point out, again, this kind of gets missed at boat shows because we know you're going through a lot of boats very quickly, but there is a tremendous comfort factor to a Marex. And what I mean by that is not only do we use best materials that we can find, which means that our boats are not on the cheap side. But again, as with anything in life, you get what you pay for. Our upholstery is Alcantara, and if you're not familiar with Alcantara, you can watch the video right here. Just click on that link. But you'll notice the seat back. Now, a lot of builders tend to just put square cushions back here in the cockpit until you get to bigger boats, like a 100 foot or greater. You'll notice that there's a very particular shape and a height to these backs, and that is all about comfort. Where does your back lay support? It's the difference between getting in a less expensive car versus a luxury car and the seat that you have that you're driving in. One is dramatically more comfortable. That's really the best way to describe how we do the seating on a Marex. So there is a lot of thought that goes into every aspect here: the height, the shape, where it's positioned, how it's positioned, and the materials. Marex is a family owned business founded in 1973, and the current owners are the two sons of the founder, Espen and Thomas Hollerud. And Espen is the designer. His understanding and knowledge of boating is phenomenal because he's been a lifelong boater, and he's constantly listening to the boaters and the thousands of owners of Marexes. So all of the clever things in these boats go to Espen and the entire team and the feedback from our owners. Now, the thing about a 330 is that the Scandinavia is an enclosed. So in each Marex model, you notice we have some enclosed and we have some open. The way this one opens up is really well done because there's a nice straight flow from the transom, from the swing platform, all the way up to the helm itself. But then how things are situated makes a difference. Another thing that you probably won't notice at a boat show while you're flying through all the boats is the decking that we use. Now, one of the things that Marex is also known for is using old materials in new ways. So one of the decking materials we use inside the salon and down below is ash. And the interesting thing about that is it is thermally treated. So you can vary the colors, but it essentially caramelizes and seals the upper layers. This has been something that's been known by furniture makers for hundreds, if not 1,000 years. But it's something that we do because it's going to give you more longevity, it's going to give you less maintenance, and it looks amazing. This is something else that's really hard for us to take the time to pinpoint at a boat show as well, which is the overall quality. There's different grades of stainless steels, and that's something where Marex excels again is the selection of the materials, but not only that, but it's the fit and finish. So if you look at where the decking here meets the seat support, you'll notice that the gap is perfectly uniformed all the way around. And that's something as any boater or any consumer you want to look for. You want to look for the consistencies in how something is manufactured. Do the seams line up? Is everything straight and narrow, as they say? And what's the quality of the seaming? Are they using French seams where it's double stitched with backing behind it? How are the finishes on the materials? Are they going to be high maintenance finishes or are they going to be low maintenance finishes? So I mentioned that it's enclosed. So we do have the glass bulkhead in the back with the large door opening over to starboard side. You'll notice the DNA for all Marexes is we have two sunroofs. So there is an aft sunroof here, and then we have the forward sunroof. This boat is a really great couples cruiser. So it's definitely a family boat. I mean, every Marex is designed specifically as a family cruising boat for adventures, weekending, and so on and so forth. But it's the little things that make a difference. So here we have dinette, and you have the seat back. Now, on many boats, you see this seat back. You pull it aft, and obviously it'll move. You fold the end of the table up. You can see the hinge, and now it's facing forward. But they went the extra step. So this seat, when you pull it back, it actually becomes the same height as the helm seat. So now you were in cruise mode. You have a double wide companion seat on your port side at the same height as your captain. And what that means is your visibility forward is outstanding. So it's extra set of eyes, which is safety. You are with the captain for this journey itself. Something else to point out is the sea door that we have over on the helm side. And you notice how wide the decks are and how high they come up and the way that we've done the treatment here. So you do have a mid-cleat, very easily accessible. So when it comes to single handling a Marex, these are owner-operated boats. They are very responsive to the helm, regardless of the engine configuration that you choose. And if you go into our website, you'll notice how many different engine configurations we do offer. Simple saying, we sell boats, we don't sell engines. But that makes it easier because if you're more comfortable, say, with a single engine V-shaft application versus a twin engine stern drive, it's what you want to choose to configure your boat. But we keep things simple. So for instance, your only battery switches are right here. And again, it keeps it simple. So this is a twin application. So there's one battery for each engine and then your main house battery. And then the layout for the helm, you'll notice it's not just a chunk of GRP. It's actually been designed. It's on a particular angle. It's laid out a very particular way. It's stylish. It's raised. It's to give you the visibility, but it's also to put the elements on the right angles to make them easier for you to use. Now, as we look below, you'll see more of this excellent decking. You'll see that each of our doors actually has glass in that. And if I go over here to port side, you'll see there's a giant window. So the other thing about a Marex is big windows, big windows, big windows. Lots of natural light, opening port lights, glass in places. Sometimes you think it's a bulkhead. It's actually a clouded glass, and that's to allow more of that natural light in because the whole point of boating is to be outside. So we don't want to be stuck in a dark cave. And Marexes are well known for their brightness, their lightness, and the excellent flow of natural air. Another thing to look at, especially at boat shows, and again, you're flying through quickly, is the fit and finish with regard to joiner work. So the interior of a boat should be fine furniture. And I don't think you should have to buy a boat that's 80 feet to 100 feet or bigger to have world-class furniture. And that's why I've always admired the way that Marex finishes all of the joiner work throughout all of their boat models, whether it be the 31, the 310, all the way up to the 440. I'm going to hop in the head here. And as someone who is 6'3", I do enjoy the fact that this is a 33-foot boat. And when I first walked into the head and I saw it was sunken and had this excellent acrylic surround for the shower, I thought, okay, this was designed by somebody who spent a lot of time on a boat and gets feedback from people who also spend a lot of time on the boat. You notice the shelves and they have very high fiddles. The positive there is it's going to allow you to put stuff up there and it's going to stay there. Obviously, you're not going to put a very tall, heavy item and then go out and drive like you've got a Porsche or something. But your water cups, they're mounted, and there's plenty of counter space. And in addition to that, you notice that we have 2 drawers and plenty of storage down below. Hard to get in here with the virtual tour, but that's why we strongly suggest you get in on your own, because then you can experience the fact that your ceiling height here is well over 6'5". You'll notice it's got some different geometry. So it could be 6'5" here, 6'6" there, 6'7" here, 6'5" over here. The point is, it's a large sized head for a 33-foot boat. And that's something I've been in this industry a while. I hear a lot of people always say, in boats under 50 feet, oh, I wish the head was bigger. Well, this one has a large head. And just like every Marex, there are 2 sunroofs, there are 2 cabins. And so we go back down here. And something that I enjoy is when a boat builder and designer utilizes the space to its fullest. So for instance, sometimes you get on a boat and they will pick the traditional mattress sizes. And so a space like this may have a much smaller mattress. Here, Marex decides to use the entire space because after all, what's it for? It's for sleeping. You come down here, you want to have as much room as possible to sleep. You have storage. You have this beautifully upholstered bulkhead. You have nice contrasting textures going with the rest of the furniture. You get up in the morning, you want a place to sit and put on your socks and shoes and stand up. That's why the forward section here is full standing height with that big window that I showed you earlier when we were coming down the companionway. And then behind the door, we have more storage, and we have plenty of storage here. Again, look at the joiner work. You can see how beautiful this is finished. Nice and solid. Again, you get what you pay for. You're always looking for good materials. Popping into the forward here, the takeaway here is comfort, relaxing, and quiet. I've always been kind of surprised, and I guess I shouldn't have been, but I've been surprised at how quiet a Marex is. Not just underway, which is dramatically different. When you go in the engine compartments of a Marex and you see all the soundproofing, you realize that they do that throughout the entire boat, and you see why they're so quiet. But the other thing is, at night, when everything else is quiet in the marina, the Marex is quiet. So that's a quick run through of the 330. If you get a chance, obviously get on board for yourself, because that's the difference with boats today. When you're rushed at a boat show and you're trying to see a bunch of different things, it's hard to really see the comparison. You want to look for transitions. You want to look where bulkhead materials meet other materials and see how well that's put together. It's just like a car. Your eye will automatically know, hey, if that's not right, or if, wow, that looks really good. I'm just going to zoom in on the seaming here. Marex is exceptional at building boats. They've been doing it for 53 years. And that's something that gets lost in translation sometimes, is just how long they've been building boats, as do some of the key features when you're running through a boat. Refrigerator. Okay, look, we have storage, refrigerator or ice maker. We have another refrigerator or ice maker. We have the oven. We have the cooktop. The thing about the 330 is there's a lot of good options that you can pick to make it just right for you and your family. You can go with the gas cooker. You can go with induction top. You have a large sink over here, good prep area, and you're opened through the big glass door here into the cockpit area. And that's really the whole point, is to enjoy your surroundings. So if I just tilt up here, you have both sunroofs open and the rest of the boat opened up. You're enjoying where you are. The last item, and if you want to see a video, is just all the different details that go into the fit and finish of a Marex. And so you can watch a video on that right here. Just follow that link. And hopefully you enjoyed this. Again, you can go on our website, marex.no, and click on the 330 or any of the models. And then when you click on the gallery, you can go right to the 360 view and you can climb through and explore this boat for yourself. We also have lots more videos. So there's plenty of videos on performance, there's videos on materials, there's videos on woodworking, on the lamination process, how these boats go together. So that's our look today. Thank you for joining us, and enjoy checking out a Marex, and hopefully we'll see you very soon in a test drive.